Last episode was on why heart rate and POTS don't matter, why your heart rate doesn't matter while exercising and stuff like that. This episode is why I don't like the Levine or the CHOPs protocol. Let's go. All right, so we just got done with the ring muscle up work. It was supposed to be 4 sets of 8 ring muscle ups. However, I could get them with a 2-minute 30 break. That was tough, boy. Now we got to go do strict handstand push-ups. 45 for time. Here's the rude guy from the last video. Let's get after this. All right, surprisingly, that actually went pretty okay compared to other weeks. This has been a progression of did 30 for time a few weeks ago, 35, 40, and then 45. It's actually going pretty decent. I need to lose some weight because your boy put on some weight while trying to get back from this injury that I had. But it seems like it's going okay so far with the gymnastic stuff. Anyway, first point, why I don't like the CHOPs protocol is that it is heart rate based, and for a lot of training like athletic training and things of that nature, heart rate based training is very useful, but for POTS specifically, I don't think it's useful. The reason being, there's so many different reasons that a person with POTS may have high heart rate, low heart rate, whatever. We have many variances in our day. So many things can contribute to us having a lower heart rate or a higher heart rate. Hydration status, certain foods, how much sodium and potassium you have, if you've had so far, whole host of things. That's number one. The heart rate thing, I just don't agree with it. I'll elaborate more in the next clip. All right, I don't know exactly where I'm at with this video, but this is gonna be a hard pattern to interrupt if it comes in awkwardly. I apologize for that, but I wanna talk about why I don't like the Levine or CHOPs protocol, and yes, my shirt is off for the views. I'm gonna be extremely clear about that. So, I'm gonna go over the bad of the Levine protocol, and then, I didn't write this down, the good, and explain my points and what I think is beneficial and what isn't. The first point for the Levine and CHOPs protocol that I do not like is number 1. It says months 1 through 4 should be horizontal workouts only, which would be row, recumbent, swim. Although those are really good modalities and good exercises to develop conditioning, it doesn't take into consideration individuality per person. Not every single POTS person is in the same exact place as the other. Some people can tolerate more things than another person. And if somebody can tolerate more things than another person, it doesn't necessarily mean that they should start where the sicker person is. With every illness besides this, we always treat people where they're at, not as if they're sick and dying. This seems to be the opposite way around. Then month 4 is where you're allowed to move to an upright bike. Although this is probably good for some people, this is a really slow progression in my opinion. We are in the business of helping people get better quicker, not slower. And although this is also a free program, again, no individuality considered with this. There's no guidelines on if you are at a specific point in your POTS journey that you should progress a little bit faster or slower. There's no guidance. It just gives you very hard steps to follow. Then month 5 is finally when you get to get upright. And I have a problem with this because at month 5, you're basically almost half a year in. If you're not that sick, you can actually decondition yourself in general. If you're somebody who is generally okay, that can walk around, like me, I have a couple clients that can get on planes, they can go across the country, they have POTS syndrome, they've been diagnosed with it, they're pretty functional. If I were to tell them to follow these guidelines right here, they would probably get deconditioned rather than get reconditioned or more conditioned. And that is a big problem. Now, number 4 is no clear volume or not clear on volume, because there is a strength component to this. And basically what it says in part of the Levine protocol, you guys can look this up yourself, is that on your last set, your 3rd set, you should do as many reps as possible. Well, we're not taking into consideration intensity or volume there, and that's really bad because somebody could be not working out with enough intensity for POTS or with POTS, and they could just literally do 50 reps on an exercise, and that may not be beneficial to them at all. That's why these programs that don't have anybody overwatching you, somebody with POTS, because a lot of POTS people tend to be anxious and not able to work as hard as, they may like or whatever, because they don't have somebody watching over them, encouraging them, telling them, hey, you can do this, or somebody that they call, whatever, that gives them encouragement. You might pick a weight that seems challenging, but when you get to that last, I can do as many reps as possible thing, you might get 50 reps. And none of the exercise up to that point, unfortunately, was really all that beneficial for you. The last point that I didn't write on here, but I really want to touch on, is heart rate and heart rate zones. Something that I talk about with my clients often is, take for example, me and then another person with POTS, right? We could both be doing the same exact workout. It could be considered zone 2, so our heart rates both have to be at 125 beats per minute. We could both be doing the same exact workout, both have the same exact heart rate, except we're experiencing two completely different stimuluses. And that's because with POTS, the symptoms vary so much person to person. Not everybody is going to experience just daily life the same way as the next person. So I could personally experience it to be super anaerobic, which would mean more muscular failure, more muscular fatigue. The next person could have it be more of an aerobic workout. So it's really important to get individual there. Now, let's go to the things that I actually think are kind of good. Number 1, it says make sure to do cardio 2 days or repeat. At least 2 days of cardio or repeat. That's really, really good because I have my clients do the same thing. If they miss 2 days of cardio, we may not repeat that week, but we will repeat the workout that they missed more times than not and progress on the second one. That's the only downside to this first point right here, but I think it's generally pretty good. If you miss 2 weeks, start over. I think that that's a pretty normal thing to do with exercise programs in general for people who are fit and for people who have POTS. If you miss 2 weeks on a program, probably start the program over. 3 is emphasis on mental toughness. That's really, really good. I think that with POTS, a lot of people tend to hold themselves back because they're experiencing, because, for example, in my last video, I talked about heart rate zones and why I don't pay attention to them, right? A lot of people with POTS pay too much attention to their heart rate, and they stop workouts or they stop doing what they're doing because they see their heart rate is high. 150 for some reason seems to be a number that people with POTS think is high. It's not very high. And then they stop. They don't stop because they're symptomatic. They stop simply because they're freaked out by a number. So emphasis on mental toughness is really good. However, the only problem is there's nobody to hold you accountable. That's the one downfall to that. If you're somebody who can hold yourself accountable, this is really good. They actually say mental toughness is important in this program. Number 4, it's a general guideline, which I love. General guideline is great because there's a lot of people out there that do need help, and this will serve some people. For other people, it won't serve them as good as it should, but it's something to have out there. So, takeaways. I don't like the protocol overall, but I think that it can be beneficial for some people, and at least it's a resource out there for somebody to use. So, things that I think that are the most important with POTS. Not paying attention to heart rate, making sure that you keep track of total volume of exercise, making sure that you do get reconditioned yourself, but also meeting yourself where you're actually at and not just doing row, recumbent, swim because a program says that. If you can handle more, you can handle more. So if you guys have any questions on this, feel free to comment down below or hit me up on Instagram at JQFitLife. Email me at jqfit1@gmail.com. I do offer coaching for POTS people. I'm going to put some reviews right here from some of my clients, and you guys can make the decision. We can work together, reach out, talk to you in the next video.